Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp, and thanks again for tuning in to another brewery breakdown. Today I'll be going over the history of the French brasserie Goudale, and even though it goes way back, I'll try to filter a bit and not go all out this time. So here goes nothing. The story of La Goudale starts in 1919 when in Douai, in the north of France, four family breweries, namely Delfolie, Marronnier, Bay and Caudrelier, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, joined forces and started a cooperative brewery with a combined capacity of 26,000 hectoliters. They used to brew mainly Bière de Garde, which was a very popular local beer style in the north of France, remember Trois Mots, for their local municipalities and often not farther than a few kilometers from the brewery. Often they didn't even have a truck to deliver, so. But together they had a stronger market position and they could fan out. The new name they chose for their brewing group was, bear with me, La Grande Brasserie des Enfants de Gaillon, after the giant that starred in one of the local myths as European tradition prescribes. Now remember, brewers don't just sell beer, they sell stories just as well. And every chance they get, they will grab a myth and sell that as well. Now together they had not only the benefit of buying ingredients in bulk and thus cheaper, they also had the freedom to renovate one site while keeping the others up and running. And so they quickly scaled up until the whole bunch was actually bundled in one location. So in 1927 they produced 40,000 hectoliters, and in 1946 they even brewed over 60,000 hectoliters. Now by this time they had 18 600 hectoliter fermentation tanks and 8 of a whopping 2,000 hectoliters, which is still big today, so in that time. At this time they also had 3 delivery trucks and a combined workforce of 39 people. A few years later, in 1955, Jean-Pierre Dorébry bought the brewery and added another step, bringing production to 80,000 hectoliters in 1959 and even 100,000 in 1965. With the workforce having more than doubled to 87 people, Dorébry modernized the brewery but the beer portfolio as well, as he launched their first alcohol-free beer, the Celta, in 1970, and following the Belgian trend of strong ales, think about Duvel, Lucifer, Satan, he also launched Demon Beer, Bière de Démon. In 1994 eventually they also brought back the Bière de Garde under the name La Goudale, exclusively in 75 centiliter bottles, as the Bière de Garde and Saison traditions prescribed, a trick that La Chouffe played for a while too. The name La Goudale, by the way, was derived from an old collective name for the local beers adopted from the English, mainly from the soldiers in the First World War. And can you guess what? Goudale, Goudale. So it's named after just a good ale. Under Dorébry's reign, the brewery name was also simplified from La Grande Brasserie des Enfants de Gaillon to just Brasserie de Gaillon, or the Giant's Brewery, in 1995. And a few years later, in 2001, Jean-Pierre also took control of Brasserie Jeanne d'Arc, which was actually the old Van Damme Brewery in Ronchin. And swiftly he renamed that brewery to Grain d'Orge after their best-selling beer at the time. This brought their total capacity close to 200,000 hectoliters per year, and only 4 years later the newly acquired brewery was closed down and tore down, and all production was moved to the main brewery in Douai. Now fast forward another 5 years to 2010, enter André Pecqueur, the owner of Brasserie Saint-Omer. He makes the Dorébry family an offer they couldn't refuse, and so they didn't. They sold the whole lot to Pecqueur, who then invested an additional 3 million in the site And a few years later, he added some more fermentation tanks. Now, this time 4 tanks of 2,300 hectoliters each, which is huge. But in 2017, he decides that it would be much more comfortable to have both his breweries closer to each other. So he built an entirely new state-of-the-art brewery and bottling line for a combination of 60 million euros in Arques, which is only 4 kilometers from Saint-Omer, while Douai is almost 80 kilometers from Saint-Omer. The new brewery has a capacity of 1.5 million hectoliters per year and was named La Goudale, again after their biggest brand. Of course, we do see a trend here, and yeah, they're still going strong. They're still at the same location. You can visit the brewery whenever you want. I'm actually thinking of doing so. I saw that it's a 20-minute drive from Troismont to La Goudale, so I might combine that in one day. And I suggest you guys do the same if you get a chance. Now we are gonna taste a Goudale beer, just not today. As usual, if you guys like this video, have any questions, remarks, whatever, leave them down in the comments. I'll get back to you guys as soon as possible. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe and the bell icon. You'll get notified whenever I upload something. And if you like this video, yeah, hit the thumbs up. It'll help me. Maybe even share somewhere. And that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow with a La Goudale beer. Cheers, you guys.